Hey guys, this is Reagan. Welcome to the channel. I just got back from my very first backpacking trip in Europe, and I am excited to share with you guys what I learned about what to bring and what not to bring and what works for a packing setup. I had with me, I actually have 3 bags here. So I've got the Osprey Porter 30, which I absolutely adore, and I'll talk more about that in just a little bit. And then over here, I've got this tote that I grabbed from REI. And inside of it I have my main day pack that I brought with me. And this was just kind of a flexible bag that I used for my clothes while I was in the hostel, but also for bringing more stuff with me on the airplane than I fit into just this little day pack alone. Most of this stuff, if I didn't want to have it in the tote, I would have been able to fit into the Osprey Porter, but I compressed this down a little bit tighter so that it would work super efficiently for carry-on without anyone even questioning it. So the Porter 30 worked wonderfully for me. I really don't have any complaints about it after using it. It is super sturdy, but it also is really convertible. So right now I've got it in the full backpack form with its hip belts and everything, but if I wanted to, I could hide it all away. All of this comes undone, and I'm not gonna do it now because it takes a minute, but maybe I'll show you later. I'll show you, I can just show it now. Another thing I really love about it is it's got these side panels on it, and they are super sturdy, a thick, stiff material that you can just compress around it, and it makes it more like a duffel bag. You can carry it this way, and it can get tossed around by somebody else that's moving stuff on the plane or the bus, and you don't have to worry about your stuff inside. So if we open this up to get to the main compartment, we can just undo these right here, and that shows all of the zippers that are hidden underneath. We've got the top one, which is just a small slot, and I tossed some shoes in there. I like these sandals a lot because they are flexible, they're simple enough, they're just like Crocs sandals, I don't know. But they are flexible to squash in there. You can dress them up a little bit more nicely when they're not covered in dirt like this, and you can also wear them into showers at hostels. In the next pocket, we've got a bit more organization. A couple other pockets in here. I have just a gift I got for somebody. This was a luxury item. Definitely not a necessary thing. It's actually a mini printer, which prints basically little Polaroids, which I enjoy bringing. Definitely not a necessity though. Toss that over there. We've also got, this kind of became my junk drawer pocket. Resistance band for my knees, which I never used. Oops. The leftover currency that I wasn't able to exchange back at the end. Cords. And that is what that pocket looks like. And then finally for the main pocket, this opens up suitcase style, which I definitely would recommend a bag that can open this way. And you can get full access to all of your stuff. Most of the things you're going to find yourself packing is going to be clothes. That's going to be the most of the weight you bring and the most of the space that is taken up in your bag. So when you do pack your clothes, you want to make sure that you are bringing clothes that can match with each other very easily, different tops with different bottoms, and just keep it very simple and minimal. On top, I just have this gray jacket that I kind of wore all over. I was in Paris and London, and those were pretty rainy and cold. I also spent a decent amount of time in Spain, so this needed to be a very flexible wardrobe temperature-wise. I've also got raincoat, definitely necessary. I didn't bring an umbrella, I just stuck with the raincoat and didn't have any issue with that. I've got a bunch of clothes that is not packed nicely down here, and I would not recommend doing that as you're packing to leave or while you're traveling, but it is a really good method for saving space, specifically when you're coming home. Just taking all the little bits of clothing and shoving them in around the things that are compressed better is a backcountry style of packing, and it works really well for saving as much space as possible, but it is very disorganized and it'll make all of your stuff smell pretty bad if it didn't already, so I'd only recommend that for when you are on your way home. It's helpful if you picked up a handful of souvenirs and you have a bit less space and you feel like everything's fitting a little bit more tightly than it did before. Alright, keep going. I've got a little tiny towel that I brought with. Towels are not necessarily included in hostels. They'll often be a couple euros a day if you do get them there. It's a little bit of clothes that I picked up while I was traveling, so that was not packed with me originally. Some more gross clothes. I had one bathing suit, which is just always good to have, just in case. And then the main clothes compartment was this. It's a Thule compression cube, and it was a lifesaver. This is what made it completely possible to go full carry-on and use just this 30-liter bag to do everything I needed for 2 weeks. It has fantastic zippers. It works just great. We're able to open it up and give it a bit more space, get the air back in there. And inside, I've got one pair of leggings, one long sleeve shirt, a couple short sleeve shirts, and a handful of just plain color tank tops, which I really like to match with basically anything. A couple more shirts there. I got 2 pairs of shorts. I don't know where the other one's in this bag because I wore it the night I packed up. Some sweatpants that I picked up while I was gone, and 1 pair of black jeans, which were basically my go-to every day. Unless I was traveling, then I would go with more of the comfy clothes. And that was all in this one compression cube. So that is my favorite item besides the backpack that I've got for this trip. When I did pack originally, instead of just having all of this stuff thrown around, there are little zipper pockets on the side of this, which worked really nicely to store that. Especially since there were 2 of them, I could kind of keep all of the clean stuff over in this ventilated pocket, and then once they were very dirty and not rewearable, shift them over. And that is all of the clothes I brought with me for the 2 weeks. I also, this is what I had on the plane. I had a very comfy North Face, sports bra, t-shirt, and track pants. And also these shoes. These shoes are definitely the main thing that I would change with what I brought. I wanted to try to find something that was comfortable but looked a little bit nicer than the gym shoes that people usually wear all around in the US. I heard that you couldn't take gym shoes into certain cathedrals, it wasn't nice enough, so I thought this would be a nice compromise. And it was frequently, however, it is not breathable and it is not as comfortable as I would want for standing for a 2-hour theater show or walking as many miles as I did quite a few times. They look great, but I definitely would switch those out to just regular gym shoes that are as comfortable as possible and breathable, because you are going to be re-wearing your clothes, and anything going near shoes that have been worn that much that cannot breathe is going to ruin everything in your suitcase. So that is the main thing that I would change. Besides those, all of the other clothing options that I brought, I was actually very happy with for doing a city-focused trip specifically. If I went on a longer trip, I think I would still be totally happy with this clothing that I brought here. The main difference is going to be the amount of times that you do laundry rather than the amount of clothing you bring. I think the point at which I would need to consider a bigger bag would be if I was going to do more of a focus on hiking and being outdoors. I've already got my raincoat, but even if I switch those to regular gym shoes, I don't think that's going to replace the hiking boots that I want to bring. I'd have a handful of other gear options that would be better. But as long as I was sticking to the cities, this bag would totally do it for me. We went through the main compartments. We've also got some stuff up on top. I've got my bag of toiletries that popped open, which they're only in that bag because I just went through the airport, but I kept them in this for the rest of the time. This little toiletry bag worked really nicely for me. I like that it's hangable, it's compressible, and all this stuff fit in there very, very easily. A couple recommendations with toiletries would be It's really nice to have your own shampoo, conditioner, body wash. Did not expect to find this at the hostels. I brought little containers of each of them, which I knew wouldn't be a problem because I was only doing 2 weeks. You could always opt for a 2-in-1 or a 3-in-1 to simplify that. But don't bring a big giant container of shampoo or conditioner. I saw some people doing that because they were traveling for a few months, but there are convenience stores all over other countries, like there are wherever you live, and so it's easy enough to bring a small one and just buy a new one and replace it. Don't lug around all of that extra water weight for no reason. Also up here on top, we've got earplugs, definitely important if you're staying at hostels, and a little locker, which is also essential for hostels. You need to be able to have all of your stuff locked away secure while you're out for the day. Lastly, with this bag, we have a laptop pocket right here. I didn't bring a laptop with me or a tablet, but I still found that this pocket was very helpful for important papers you might want to bring, like a train reservation. Or I also had a money belt with me, which I definitely liked having. I kept the money I was going to use for the day and my main credit cards in my day bag with me, but this was for the currencies that I wasn't using at the time or other cards that I wanted to have with me but not necessarily use day to day. This also was very convenient to have for if you go out at night at all and you don't want to have a whole big bag with you to keep track of. Money belts are also just very convenient in high pickpocket locations. So enjoyed having that. And that is the main bag, complete. Over in the smaller bag, we've got everything I had with me day to day. We had sunscreen because I burn. A little bit of Tylenol, a couple pencils, portable charger, definitely important, and the rest is garbage. This bag also has a nice little pocket on the back to keep your passport safe and secure and against your body. I really liked having a sling bag. It's very convenient to be able to toss it over your back when you needed, when you could. And then it was also super easy to bring around and have all of your money just right here in front of you. Definitely safe in any high pickpocket locations. Last but not least is the tote. The tote is the items that kind of floated throughout my trip. Sometimes they were with me during the day, sometimes they stayed in the locker, but I definitely wanted them, sorry. I definitely wanted them for my last airplane ride home. Last couple airplane rides home. First we've got the power adapter. You definitely need one of these. You at least need a small one for whatever country you know you're going to be in. I personally really like the very flexible ones, the universal adapters. Huge recommendation. A lot of hostels will actually have outlets in, like, by each bed for you, so you want to be prepared with this in case they have just a wall outlet and not like a USB for you to plug into. I've also got just a couple little souvenirs I got for people. Notebook. I really value journaling and sketching and taking time for yourself while you're traveling. I was very surprised at how little alone time you have traveling solo if you don't seek it out. And I'm not like a hugely extroverted, outgoing person, so I was very surprised at that. But this was still super important to me to be able to take that time and to really think through the day and the things I was learning. Always keep a journal with you. Glasses, that other mysterious pair of shorts, collapsible water bottle. I really like this guy. It was very convenient for getting through airport security. You could just, let's see, yes, you just squash it down pretty easily, and then get through the metal detectors, get to the other side of the airport, and fill it up again. I would be careful if you were drinking out of it to not have your thumb in the middle part here, because it might break on you. But as long as you hold it where the seams aren't the worst, it didn't give me any problems. It never spilled or leaked. This was another luxury item that I did not end up using. This is something I also have from backcountry camping. It actually blows up into just a really small, convenient pillow. I thought I would like it for the plane or for how bad the pillows were supposedly going to be in hostels, but I didn't actually have a problem with that, and I don't think this is something I would bring again either. And that is all we've got for this bag. So that is the total. This was my whole life that I carried around with me for the last 2 weeks. If you have any questions at all about packing, let me know. And if you would like to see a longer video about the most important things I learned on this trip, let me know. Thanks for watching and keep exploring.